Hey everyone, on this week's episode, I get to sit down with a life coach that runs his own small business called Molding Achievers. I'm super stoked to talk about this. I don't know much about being a life coach or what it all entails or what they can help you with, but I'm really excited to learn more. Everyone, please help me introduce Andrew Murray. Hey Andrew, how are you doing today?
Man, weather's awesome. Can't ask for much more than this.
Exactly, 30 degrees out, sunny on a weekend. Looks like there's no end in sight for that. I'm ready for summer to begin for sure. I just wanted to start by getting you to introduce yourself, introduce what you do, and then I got some questions for you.
Okay, so my name's Drew Murray. Greg and I have been friends for a long time. Just recently, I decided to become a certified life coach. This kind of came just because I wanted to help other people. Just kind of starting that journey and talk to Greg about it here.
So why a life coach?
I've always had a passion for helping people,
Yep.
no matter what it was. So in high school, I was on what they called the assist team, which is a suicide intervention team.
Oh, good for you.
So in grade 11 and 12, I was a mentor for the grade 9s. So anything they needed as they transitioned into high school, I would help. So I actually initially wanted to be a therapist.
Yep.
I'm a very optimistic and an upbeat type of person.
Yep.
The negative side effects that come from therapy, just being surrounded with that, does affect me. And that's why I knew that wasn't going to work. So for a long time, it kind of just left. And then I was struggling a bit and I got a hold of a life coach and kind of light bulb moment that said, hey, that's what it is. That's what you need to do.
Well, then even before even jumping in to find out what it is, you obviously should be there, especially if you've been through it and seen how it can help you and seen what it all could do for your life, especially if therapy wasn't the avenue for you. Can you explain to me what being a life coach is or what a life coach is?
So a life coach is somebody who takes your situation, no matter what it is, whether it be career, relationship, overall well-being, anything like that. It basically takes you from where you are and helps you to get to where you want to be. The best thing I've ever seen, it was just a picture, and it said life coaching is product improvement with yourself as the product. Basically takes a product that's not necessarily broken, just makes it better.
Okay. So this is a broad spectrum. Anything in someone's life, if they're needing help to achieve it, regardless if it's fitness or if it's their career or they just need that extra push, you're going to motivate them and try and structure a plan to help them achieve their goal.
Yeah. And each life coach, so when you're trained, you're told to choose a niche market. So like I don't do all of it. For example, like relationships, it'd be very hard for me to coach, say someone going through a very rough relationship. I've never gone through that personally. You can't coach something you don't know. So you're told to choose a niche market, something you specialize in. A good example is like an athlete. Like if you're a professional basketball player, that doesn't mean you know how to play hockey. Yes,
That's
you're
true.
an athlete, but you're a basketball player. That's all you do. So the same kind of thing with coaching is choosing your market. And that's what, so me personally, I do is career. So getting in the right mindset and personal accountability to get your career to where you want it.
So do you branch out anywhere from just career? Like if someone just needed help with motivation, like in general, just as a general, like having a hard time pushing to start losing weight or pushing to get better at your job just because you can't get that kick in the ass you need to get going?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, especially for just overall well-being, because a lot of that is all personal, right? Like, the world is the way you perceive it. Like if you only see negative, well, guess what? You're probably going to have a negative outlook. But if you only choose to see positive, you'll see positive. So I can help with that stuff. It's more situational that I can't help with in certain aspects.
Yep.
But like fitness, I can. Sports, I can because I've done sports my whole life. The career, because I've been through it. And then, but there's some things that are just kind of out of my league at this point, right? They're not saying I can't do it later, but I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm going to be able to help everybody and anybody, because I'd be doing a disservice to certain people.
Okay, that's good. That's a good way to hear you explain it like that, because then it doesn't become like this is a fucking gimmick and you're just trying to take anyone's money just to send them some motivational quotes. You actually want to push to help them meet their goals, and you want to make sure that you know that you can successfully help them in that goal. You're not just going to take anything and everything.
Exactly.
That's a very good way to look at it. And honestly, going into this, I had no idea. Like I've heard a life coach before. There's not a ton. Maybe there is a ton out there when you're actually in the market like you are, or you're actually a part of that career. But for me personally, I've never really ever looked into it. I've never really thought about what it all entails. So can you give me an example of how you would help me reach my goals? Like if my goal was to just, let's just say, put more time and be more organized in the things that I'm doing right now, because I feel like that changes someone's life too. Like if you can make sure that your time management is there, you can probably excel at things. Is there a base structure, or you take it by person to person? Obviously, there's gonna be a little bit of tailoring it to that actual person, but is there a way for you to explain how you would help me develop the tools to start being more time management, have better time management?
Right. So basically the way it works is the first 3 sessions are very standard. So the first one is basically it's an interview. And what that does is I find out about the past. So what is affecting who you are today based off of what has happened before. And then the second one is an interview about where you want to be.
Okay.
So from there, I now have why you are what you are today and what you want to be. And then the last one is we set some goals, and they're called a vision statement. So basically what that is I would write like a 1 to 2 paragraph thing of you looking at yourself, say 3-5 years from now, in second person. So you're watching yourself. And it's just basically what that does is it makes it very, very clear and precise of what we're going for. Because there's too many people that will set a goal and say, so for example, let's just say I got a goal, I want to lose weight.
Yep.
Okay, how do you, so okay, you lost a pound. So you're perfect then, or no? Like how do you judge?
True.
So it needs to be specific. So that's where that clarity comes in. Like you need to know why and what it is. And like there has to be something solid behind it that we can always track back to, right? And that vision statement doesn't have to stay the same, right? So 2 years from now, you can be like, okay, that was my vision statement then. My life has changed. I'd like to tweak it a bit, right? So that would be, so if we were to speak about time management and organization, basically we'd find out like, what is it that is hindering you from already being, because some people are just naturally good at that. So we try and find out what it is that's holding you back from that. And then we know which actions we need to do to change those behaviors. Right. So it's a lot of habit change is what it is. Like coaching is very, very much habit change. We are creatures of habit. That's just the way it is. Right. So you could have a thing where, let's just say you sleep a lot, right? Like let's just take a stab at something. So let's just say you sleep a lot, and that's very important to you. So you're in bed at 10 and you don't get out of bed till 9:30. Well, is there a possibility then that the time management issue is coming from the fact that you've actually cut so many hours out of your day already? So you have your day so packed, but you stay in bed for 11, 12 hours a day.
That's
right?
true.
So do we need to make a habit change that, okay, yeah, keep going to go to bed at 10, but I want you out of bed at 7, right? You have 2 extra hours to get things done now. Like your time management may actually just get better because there's more time now, right? Yeah. And that's why the habit change is so important, to just see what it is that's hindering what you want.
That's a good way to put it, though. It's an avenue. It's a definitely a view that a lot of people wouldn't look at, just for the fact that like you go to bed an hour later, you wake up an hour earlier. That's 2 hours extra in your day that you can help get other stuff done, and you might sleep in even farther, and you have so many more hours that could go towards your day, which is a very unique way of looking at it. I've never really thought of it that way, but it makes me compare it to like, I really want to lose weight, but I also love eating chicken nuggets every day. So like,
Amen.
really got to find that balance, you know?
Yeah,
Are you noticing, like, do you have clients right now?
I do have a couple. Yeah.
Now, are you noticing that maybe as a population or as humans, we have a similar hurdle that we're all trying to get through, especially being
Absolutely.
COVID?
Yeah. And to be completely honest, what the hurdle is, 90% of the time, it's just you.
Yeah.
Like it's literally just yourself and your pride that doesn't let you do it. Failure of what people are going to think, fear of what people think, fear of failure. And there's actually such a thing as fear of success as well. Um, what fear of success is people are scared to be the successful one in their group because then they'll feel like they're going to be put out of the group because they're going to be perceived as like snooty, right? Or they try so hard to better themselves. So they start going to the gym, they're waking up crazy early, reading lots of books, trying to make money, like all these things. And then all of a sudden the rest of their friend group isn't. And they're the weird one now. And they're scared that they're going to lose their friends because of that.
I could see that it's getting a little bit less and less with our age as it goes up, but I could see that with drinking when we were younger, or drinking when you
Absolutely.
go to college and all that stuff. And you might just want to like focus on school and do your thing. I definitely felt that in college. There were some nights where I didn't want to drink. I just wanted to stay and get some work done and do my thing. But the 3 nights you decide to say no, then they're like, he doesn't even really drink anymore. Like, we're not even
Yeah,
gonna,
he
there's
doesn't
no
even want to
point in
hang out.
inviting him out anymore, right? So
Absolutely.
I can definitely see that starting to hinder it. Are you seeing a specific hurdle, like one in general, that you're thinking people are having a hard time getting over? Like, is like, are you seeing an effect of this COVID? Obviously, 100% there's an effect in like the suicides, and you're sitting at home, you're alone. It's hard to have social interaction. But are you noticing a specific hurdle that all people deal with, not just the success or the fear of failure? One hit me. That's the reason why I never even did this podcast, because I was always afraid of failure. But when you create a goal that the whole thing is success, there isn't a chance at failure. Just doing it and going after it is the goal itself. I realized that there's really no chance of me failing. So
Exactly. So through COVID, so the clients I have right now are actually involved in MLM, which is multi-level marketing and online business. So and it's been very like, career oriented towards that. So the pandemic actually hasn't affected that much in a negative way. It's actually helped
okay.
because people need extra income and people are shopping online anyways and stuff like that, right? Now I have talked to one person about it was more just about like life in general and overall well-being. And there was definitely struggles due to COVID from that. I know myself, I'm struggling with COVID. Like I'm an extrovert through and through. Being locked in my house for a year and a half is not exactly fun.
Well, I'm with you, man.
Like sports were so important to me. And then you rip all the sports away and like, what do you do? Right? Like,
You rip everything away, man. Just
yeah,
the simplest thing of just going and sitting down and having a hot meal somewhere you don't have to prepare it is just so big. Sitting down with friends to catch up, like,
yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah, just simple things that we took for granted, right?
Really did.
Go away. It's like, wow, you realize how much freedom we have.
So true, man. I think I hope the world will be a little bit of a different place when this ends. Like, the fact that before, when you just going into a place with a mask on, just like
Yeah,
seeing someone's face, seeing someone's actual reaction or personality in their facial expressions is something that we haven't seen in a freaking year.
yeah,
So that's something that I'm looking forward to, just being able to put names to faces of people that I've known for a year now that I've never even seen face for like stuff in my job and stuff. So you definitely
yeah,
see that
and
taking a tool.
seeing emotion, right? Like
Exactly.
to tell people how you feel. Like people just, especially like I work in customer service as well, right? That how do you know if someone's being sarcastic? I can't tell if they got a little smirk.
Yep.
Right? They say something, and how do I react? Like, do I take it
Joke
as,
with them.
or are they just kidding and I should joke back? Like it's all those little things that Like, wow, this makes it more difficult.
It becomes an awkward thing where you're making jokes and he's just
Yeah, exactly.
under the mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that, man. I deal with a lot of maintenance guys, and it's hard because that generation doesn't. I don't mean to group people together, but like the maintenance guys I usually deal with are the same kind of guy. They're the rugged, blue collar worker, don't give a shit about wearing the mask, sick of it, and they're the guys that would usually tell funny jokes and laugh, and it's hard to read them. It's very hard to read them now in how they're feeling, just because everyone's just so miserable with how everything's going. So.
Yeah.
One of the questions I really wanted to ask you is, do you think that social media has a big impact on people's failure?
I do. And the issue with it is that you see the successful people on social media, but what you don't see is everything they had to do to be successful, right? So you don't see the struggles. All you see is a successful person and all the money they're making. So therefore, you start doing something, and if you don't see success right away, you think you fail, and you just give up but not realizing that, like someone like Oprah, right? It's come out now. She got fired from her first job to be on TV. Told her she was not a face for TV. She got fired. Well, that kind of backfired. Look at her now.
Yeah, that's clearly a mistake.
Yeah, and all these things, like things that were huge. I think it's Google. It all started in a garage, programming in a garage.
Amazon
right?
did too.
Yeah, like they struggled and struggled and struggled, and yeah, there's success now, and you see it, but it wasn't just handed to them.
Exactly. That's a hard thing that people need to realize that. And that's the hardest part I got on social media sometimes. Like I hate it. Like if you didn't have to have social media to do this kind of stuff and to be involved in some things that happen in people's lives, if you didn't have social media, you'd never even know.
No, exactly.
But it's also a place to go and see everyone else. Like right now, a big one for me and Kristen is we really, really, really want a house. We think that we're ready for it. We're ready to commit to the financial obligation that it entails. But it's like, do we want to buy a house in this market right now? Like, do we?
Right.
And then we see people on Facebook posting that they bought a new house and they sold their house and now they're having kids and they're married. We were supposed to be married 2 years ago. Like, it's just that kind of stuff that regardless if it's even just seeing the highlights of their life, yes, we're obviously still happy for them, but it's just a reminder of what you don't have. I feel like that's what Facebook and Instagram and TikTok is just a place to go look at the shit you can't afford, the shit you don't have. And it just, the people that get wealthy on it are the people that are wealthy in a
Right.
way for some things, like the people that are social
Yeah.
influencers and stuff now. Like, yes, maybe they've definitely grinded. They put a lot of time into their content, and I get that. But it's like all you're showing us is the lives that we wish that we could live, and that's why you get so many views. It's just being able to put ourselves in your shoes, and with all the stuff you can buy and all the stuff you can do, it's just sucks sometimes, you know?
Oh yeah, for sure. And then a lot of that comes, like you're always going to see it, right? And getting in the right mindset there to see someone successful, and then but tell yourself like that's what I'm gonna have, right? So instead of letting it be like that's what I don't have right now, we can always say like this is what's possible. If I keep going, nobody's gonna watch them anymore. That's gonna be me, right? And then of course that's all dependent on the person if that's what they want. People don't want that. I don't want to be all over like my every move. But if that's what you do want, right? Like it's the possibilities are also shown to you.
Oh, I'll be the next Rogan for sure.
Yeah. I see ready.
Spotify, give me a shout.
Hopefully more hair.
You like that?
It's there, yeah.
Buddy, I need a haircut in the worst way. Like
The old Pee-wee bro.
July can't come fast enough. Gosh. Another thing to touch on. Do you think becoming a life coach, there's specific personality traits that you need to have to be able to do it?
I do. Not huge ones, but you have to be willing to listen. You have to be approachable. You have to have integrity, or else people aren't going to want to be honest with you. You also have to be optimistic, right? Because the questions you need to ask as a coach, like they're hard questions, right? Like you have to ask those questions, and you need people to be honest with you. And you have to be able to listen properly to get the root of the issue, right? You can't just talk to somebody, and I mean, it's very common in human nature now to think about your answer before somebody's done talking, right? You're already thinking about your response. The guy's not even done talking yet. So you're not actually listening anymore. And yeah, just having a positive outlook is, of course, right? If you're going to coach somebody to success, you need to have a positive outlook too. You can't be thinking about the negative effects and then tell them that they can do the good things. That doesn't work.
It's true. You can't be sitting there hating on your life and being miserable and depressed and upset with the shit you don't have and then try and preach to someone else about how they can get that.
Exactly.
That's not a way to do it. Do you think that a life coach should be successful in their own personal life?
I do. It's funny. This question, it's depends what success is, right? Because success is very relative to each person, right? Like one person's success is they want to be a millionaire. Other person's success is, so for my wife, for example, her goal with doing like an online business was to be a stay-at-home mom. She just is coming off mat leave and emailed her company that she's not going back. She's going to be a stay-at-home mom, right? Does that mean we're going to be living lavishly and have lots of money? Absolutely not. It means we're going to have to make the cuts and do the struggles and do whatever, but we have the opportunity to do it. Therefore, yes, it is success. So
I see what you mean.
Successful in a way of they have goals and they're working towards it and there is progress, right? That's the right success. Do I think that they need to be like making hundreds of thousands of dollars doing it? No, not necessarily, right? If they are not falling off the train and they're working their goals and they're reaching them and they keep going, then yes. And to be a coach, to coach that, I do believe you have to be able to do that.
Hey, everyone. I hope you guys are enjoying the first half of episode number 11 with Andrew Murray, the life coach. This week's episode is brought to you by Cycle Life Apparel. He makes my merch. It will be in his store shortly. It's good, high-quality stuff. If you're looking for any merchandise for your company, corporate events, fundraiser, whatever it may be, reach out to my buddy Ryan. I'll make sure the link to his website is below this video. And if you need anything, please reach out to him. He's a great guy. A lot of the money does go to supporting kids who can't afford to play sports as well. So at least you know your money is going to a good place. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of the episode. I think you hit the head on the nail. The head on the nail.
Nail on the head, I think is what you meant there.
Nail on the head. Yeah, that makes sense. I get that from my mom, man. She messes up every saying. But I think that you're right. I think you hit the nail on the head. Nice. With saying that there is different outlooks on what success is in every single person's life. Like, as long as you're meeting your goals or you're happy, like I think happiness is the measure of success, which I think that might even be a slogan. But I think it is because I think I'm successful. I don't own my own house, but I've got a job that I go to every day that I love. My fiance has a job that she goes to every day that she's so motivated to be a part of and loves. We have a dog. We have a roof over our head. We don't struggle financially. We can buy the things that we want. And I think that to me, that is success. Doesn't mean that I'm not going to push for more. I feel like if you just give up on what and just stick with what you have, you'll never grow as a person. But even just like putting yourself into uncomfortable situations, I've found is so big for me. With helping me grow as a person and helping me feel more successful is just like putting yourself into this. Like luckily you're someone that I grew up with. You're someone that I've known for a very long time. It's easier to talk, but to go in and jump on. And when you join the chat, it's the same as when I meet someone for the first time for them to chat with me. And it's putting myself in a very uncomfortable position, but I think it helps grow as a person. So I do like what you're saying with success isn't measured the same for everyone.
Yeah.
Do you have to give tough love to your clients?
Absolutely. So So my niche market is like people in their career.
Yep.
And a lot of it is you're helping people that are unhappy. So there's actually a stat that came out I was reading. It's from Forbes, and it's actually out of the States, but 14% of people are content with their career. So like nobody.
Yeah.
So
like nobody.
So basically what it is it's I coach the mindset and the accountability for habit change to get your career to where you want it. Right? The accountability is the biggest downfall of the human nature. Right? We just love to blame something else.
Oh yeah.
So easy to just blame something else, right? But being personally accountable, it's tough love. Like it's like you hear an excuse and you basically have to look at them and say, no, that's not what it was. That's not the problem here. The problem was you, right? So there's the mindset thing is less tough love. That's more like almost positive affirmation, right? To just get them seeing the positive side of everything, but the accountability is 100% tough love.
Now, you talk about dealing mostly with people that are trying to advance their career. Now, if someone comes to you, this is just for an example for people listening, if they don't have their grade 12 or they don't have the college necessary and there's a type of career they want to get into, will you take them from the beginning, help them time manage, working a job, maybe even having kids, as well as doing night school to advance their education, helping them figure out and all the steps to applying to college, going to university, and then helping them excel in their career once they've made it through? Like, I guess what I'm asking, I'm assuming you will walk them through all those steps and you'll take them along the whole journey. Is there a time frame on what you do, or this could last years, this could last days, this could be a couple sessions, and they just needed a little bit of balance or guidance into the right path?
It's very particular to the person, because the thing with a life coach is, I mean, you kind of look at it like I always use sports as an example because it's the easiest one.
Yep.
So like a coach when I was 10, I don't need them to coach me my entire life. I just need them to teach me now, right? Give me the skills that I need that then I can go on my own. So that's kind of what life coaching is it's getting to a point. So with the accountability, mindset, and habit change is I try and coach those three things to help you advance your career. So I give you that vision, I give you the skills to be able to do that, and then you're on you go. Because once you've made habit change, that should stick because those are your habits. Right? You've changed from what you were doing to what you are doing now. Just keep that rolling. So some people it takes longer. It depends where you are, right? Like it depends on the situation. Some people are already fairly content in their career and but they want to be better at it, or they want to advance in their, like at their business, they just want to advance to the next position, get that promotion. And they just need like, what should I do to get there?
To stand out. Yeah.
And other people are completely unhappy with their career. But the problem is they don't know what they want to do.
That's a big one. I always hear that is like
Oh.
even even my little sister right now, like Melanie, like she wants to be successful and she wants to have a good career, but she's like, I'm not going to go pay to go to college, especially right now where I have to go online to do most of it when I don't even know what I want to do. Why would I waste my money?
Yeah. I never went to college. I started working at 17.
Yep.
Right. And I'm still at the dealership I started at. And that was the issue I had is what do you want to do? I don't know. I want to go play baseball. What are you talking
about? Yeah, exactly.
Like, especially because it's daunting, right? You ask a 17-year-old, what do you want to do for the rest of your life? I don't know. I only remember the last, 15, not even 10, 13 years, something like that.
Yeah.
When you were, so you're asking me what I want to do for the next 45 years of working when I remember the last 12. I don't have a clue.
It's crazy, dude. And when they first ask you that, you're like fucking 18.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, I just learned how to freaking drive. Like,
yeah, like, why don't you wait till I can buy my first beer? And then
Yeah, Jesus.
like,
Like I can only buy a lottery ticket and you're asking what I want to do for the next 50
yeah,
years. I'll tell you what, I want to win the lottery. That's what it is.
exactly.
Like
That I don't have to
it
have this
is
conversation.
it is so crazy to think about though. Like you're on the earth for 18 years. You remember maybe 10 of them somewhat
Yeah, like
vividly.
clearly, at least only 10.
And you're 18 years old and they're like, what do you want to do? It's like, what a fucking question. Thanks for asking me what I want to do for more than twice the amount of time that I've been on the earth.
Yeah.
I'm just supposed to choose now. Like, and I, as much as the school system is good that we have, it's very hard because I don't remember ever being pushed towards finding what I wanted to do early on enough.
It's
Like,
a
I
huge
remember,
downfall.
yeah, exactly. Like, I took civics and careers because I did want that help of what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a carpenter for a long time. And then I realized, like, the type of carpentry I want to do could potentially be seasonal. And I didn't really want to have to try and find work in the winter. And then I wanted to be an electrician, went to school for that. Still wanted to be, still could today. Like I'm still in my apprenticeship of like a level 3, but now I'm happy with what I'm doing. I just happened to stumble across it because I got laid off. Like I got laid off
Right.
from being an apprentice, went into a dealership, started selling cars, went to another dealership, sold cars. Then a guy approached me saying that he liked the way I sold and asked me to come work for a massive company that now I'm happy with. And now like couldn't be happier. So it's just such a weird way that it happens. It's not just asking someone a simple question. You could fall into the dream career. But I do think that before I freaking ramble on for another half hour, I still think that there should be something set in place in schools. Instead of take your kid to work day to see your parents that are miserable at their freaking job and get a false sense of what they do for a living. They should just send you out with someone else's parents. They should send you out with, or just take you all to like one full week is completely off. And you go to 2 different types of careers every day. You go see nurses, you go see people in the health field, you go see trades work, you go see people who work in offices, people who work in factories, people who work in automotive, whatever it may be. That's like 15 places that you could get taken over a couple of weeks that might, one of them might trigger you to be like, yes, I could spend every hour here or 40 plus hours here every week for the next 40 years of my life. Like, I just think it needs to be approached a lot more different.
Yeah. And I've always thought about like guidance counselors, right? Like we all have guidance counselors, but there's how many hundreds of students in one high school? And there's like 1 or 2 guidance counselors. And usually what they deal with is the kid that doesn't know how to stop talking in class. Right? That's not guidance, right? So like they should be like almost making sheets of like these are the fields roughly. And so what kind of field are you looking for? So you choose a field. Okay, well these are all the different careers that are in that field. Right? Like the amount of people, the amount of people that go to school and they get into the right field, but they had no idea that there was a job available in that field that they would love. And then they find it out later and now they're 30 years old. Like if you had given them that knowledge at 18, first of all, imagine how good people would be at their jobs. Everybody loved their job.
So true.
Do you imagine the amount of like good work that would get over and over because everyone would want to do it versus you just do it because you get paid every 2 weeks.
Which is a large percentage of the people that work.
Absolutely.
But like one of my first podcasts was with a guidance counselor that works at Glendale or did work at Glendale. Now he's retired. But even himself, he had so many things to say about the current school system. Like even like with how much kids are babied, like not to go on too big of a leap off of life coaching, but like when you think about how much our school systems changed to baby everyone and make sure everyone's included, which that is important, but like to where you have to get 19 signatures signed and 3 weeks of planning in advance just to take the kids off the property to go show them something that's cool and might actually be entertaining. Yeah, it's weird. But have you ever thought about being a guidance counselor?
I've thought about it, and my fear is that my memories from high school was that it was the troubled children, if you will, that kept getting sent to the guidance counselor. And I want, my big goal is to help people that want to be helped as well, right? Like it's kind of what's nice about the life coaching is If people don't get sent to me, people choose to come to me.
That's true.
So if you come to me, you've already proven to me that you want this because you're willing to go out of your way to reach out, right? Versus like, yeah, sorry, I had to come here. Your piece and on we go.
So the one thing that like that's the difference between mine and your high school, which there should be some kind of a set thing for all, so that all kids that are in the public school system are getting the same fair chance.
Absolutely.
But our guidance counselors, I always found, were more helpful with the kids that look like they had more potential. Like if you
Right.
weren't
Yes.
taking the academic courses, you were taking the applied courses, and even having that conversation with that guidance counselor, he felt the same way, that when they saw that kids were figuring out what they wanted to be at an earlier age and were smart or taking all the academic courses, at least they realized like, okay, this guy knows what he wants to do. And I know what courses he has to be able to take to be able to do that. Let me guide him into doing that. So like the people that were going in and out of there were more of the people that were the idea of going into a more successful career, which money wise, that sure as hell ain't the case. But it depends on what your idea of success is. Like if it's just a dollar value, I'm happy as hell with my job, and I make more money than a lot of people that went to school for 6 years. So
exactly.
like that's the thing that's the problem I have with the guidance system in public schools is just you gotta like it's got to be a fair shot for everyone. And like you said, man, and even talking to him, he said there was 3 guidance counselors, there was 600 students. So like you were automatically chosen to have a specific guidance counselor that was devoted to you based on the last letter of your name or the first letter of your last name. And that was your guidance counselor, unless you felt that you should be with a different one, then you could change. But to have one person have to deal with 200 students that could make an appointment with him any day, like finding time for them to be available when you have time, when you're not in class and that kind of thing. It's just, I think that there needs to be more put into having people at a younger age be given more tools to make sure that the rest of their life is whatever their version of success should be.
Exactly. Especially right before, like you got 4 years, and that's at the end of the 4 years when everyone starts pressuring you.
Exactly.
So like you gave me no tools or help, but yet now I have to have a decision.
And you know what? Like
letting me vote.
Yeah.
My future. So I have to choose my future. But when you graduate high school, I can't even vote for who's going to run in my future. Like it just doesn't, the logic doesn't line up. Right. Like that's kind of how the way I feel about it. And
you can make all these important decisions, but you can't make these ones.
Exactly.
Hey, decide what you're going to do for the next 40 years, but you can't buy that 6-pack sitting over there. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It is weird. It's definitely weird when you put it that way. And I think that you are definitely a great person to have as a life coach, just knowing you growing up and seeing you on the ball field and see how you can bring a team together and get them more motivated again. And I can definitely see as soon as it came up, I wasn't caught off guard. I wasn't surprised at all. I think it's a great career for you. I think there's a lot of people that are way too hard on themselves. And I think that you're a great avenue for people who didn't go to college or couldn't make the decision of what they wanted to do. I think that if you're listening to this and you're having a hard time finding what you want to do with your life, reach out to Drew. Like even if it's 2 sessions, just to pinpoint the kind of things in life that make you happy, he could probably help you find out what career you should be in. And if you want help succeeding in that career, once you've gotten into it, he'll be there for you too. I think I'm out of questions here. I really thank you so much for coming on today. That was the quickest hour I think I've ever done, just actually having a normal, genuine conversation. I can't wait to do this in person, maybe with a couple cold ones and bring the gear down when COVID ends. But do you have anything you want to say? Is there a way for people to reach out to you? Is there an Instagram, or is there a phone number, or is there an email, or how can people reach out to you if they want some life coaching?
So I'm on Facebook and Instagram. A company's called Molding Achievers. So it's Molding Achievers Life Coaching on Facebook and Molding Achievers on Instagram.
Molding Achievers. Okay.
Yeah. So actually, it's kind of an interesting story behind that.
Yeah, go ahead.
So achievers. So molding is you're making. Right?
Yep.
Out of just nothing. So then you're molding an achiever. And also the MOLD at the beginning of the word molding is Mel, Olivia, Levi, Drew. So it keeps my why in my vision. So that's why I'm doing this.
Look at you.
Is to create the life. So if you ever see, I'll show you my logo. I'll send it to you. But yeah, the MOLD is all intertwined together, and it says the rest. So it's kind of like a double meaning in the name.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then my email to reach out is moldingachievers@gmail.com.
Moldingachievers@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Well, I thank you so much for coming on here today. We'll definitely do this again. We'll have to do another hour for sure. Maybe have you on Fresh Thoughts and get your opinion on some other topics. But for now, we'll leave it where it is. Thanks so much for doing this again. You have a great day.
Yeah, thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
See ya.
Yeah, bye.